All right, everybody, welcome back to another video. So this is going to be a live trading video. So I'm actually going to be looking to take some shorts here on the NASDAQ, and right after I take my shorts, I'm actually going to discuss as to why I'm actually going to be going short on the NASDAQ. But we could see on the 15-minute time frame, we have a nice entry signal. We have a little bit of a loss of momentum to the upside. So this is why I'm going to be entering the market here as it sits. So my stop loss is going to be going above resistance, which is going to be a $10,000 stop loss on that specific position. I'm also going to be entering the second position here, which is also going to be another $10,000 stop loss on that other position, which is going to be a total of a $20,000 risk. Let's adjust my stops here. Now for take profits, I'm just going to move my take profits over here. Okay, cool. So take profits are going to be down here at these lows. So we have a $28,000 take profit there, and we have another $28,000 take profit there. So currently I'm going to be risking a total of around, I'm going to enter another position over here as well, which I will explain to you guys all of my positions in a bit, and as to why I'm entering these positions and the type of risk I'm taking behind these positions. Okay, so I'm going to be risking a total of around $25,000 on this specific trade. Now my overall take profits, really it's going to depend on the market conditions and where we could potentially see the markets over the next few hours or so. So really quick, I'm going to kind of skim through as to why I decided to actually take this trade. So if we look at the NASDAQ on the 4-hour time frame, essentially what we have here is we pay attention to this 15,263 area of resistance. This is going to be a major resistance range for us, where price action did previously hold this as support on the 13th of September, and price did break through. So what I'm looking for is for price action to continue to hold this previous support range as resistance, as it did multiple times in the past. My only real concern here would be a potential liquidity grab to the upside before price actually continues to go down. But again, like when it comes to trading, like you have to think about the probabilities behind certain trades. So let's go over why I'm kind of going short here. So on the NASDAQ, on the 4-hour time frame, we actually had price continue to make higher low after higher low after higher low after higher low. And then over the last few days, price action has actually taken out the previous higher low point and made a lower low. So what I'm looking for now is for price to kind of continue and start a new bearish trend, where essentially price comes down, makes a lower low, pulls back up, makes a little bit of a lower high, finds resistance, and goes down into the next support range, which is why I'm shorting and looking for the next support range to actually be hit, and that's why that is going to be set as my take profit level. Now if we go to the daily time frame, on the daily time frame, price action has printed a big old bearish candlestick, a big old bearish engulfing candlestick, and notice where the previous daily closes are is going to be that area of previous resistance, where it also did hold as support, which is why I'm actually shorting at this specific level. And I am waiting for price action to pull back up into the level itself, such as here. And if I can get another 5-minute rejection, then I'll probably add in a little bit more, probably like another 1.5 lots with my stop loss again in the same exact area. So if we can get another rejection here on the 5-minute time frame, I'll continue to add, and that'll be the last time I add, where I'll have roughly like a $30,000 risk, looking to gain maybe around $90,000, which is why I'm looking to take this type of size on this specific position, because the risk to reward is fantastic and it is off of a major level. Now typically if it was off of a more minor level, like an intraday level, I would actually not be sizing in as heavily. We'll kind of check back here in the next 5 minutes to see how this candlestick closes, but as soon as I can start getting some rejections off of this area, I'll definitely add to my position, which we got a 1-minute rejection there, which isn't like the best rejection that I want to see. I'd probably want to see like a 5-minute rejection at least to establish that price action is going to be continuing to hold this area. Now typically, like when it comes down to the higher time frame levels, such as a 4-hour daily level, which is what 15,263 is, that's typically when I'll size in a little bit heavier, especially if the risk to reward makes sense. So like you guys saw in my bigger positions, I'm risking $10,000 to potentially gain 28, or it's basically a 3-to-1 or $30,000 gain. So just off of the trades that I have alone, I'm looking to gain roughly $75,000-ish or so. Now when it comes to like the NASDAQ, so the reason why I'm going to be having multiple positions here is because I want one take profit to be the take profit at this support range all the way here, where I'll secure 2 of the positions. So I'll secure a 3 lot position, I'll secure a 1.5 lot position, and if I get to enter this other position here, then I'll leave another 3 lot and another 1.5 lot position to actually run, which now looks like we're actually starting to get some solid rejections here off of that level. So we're getting a engulfing confirmation there on the 1 minute time frame. Now usually when I trade the 1 minute time frame, like, the entries are a bit aggressive, which is why I kind of like to wait for the 5 minute time frame to actually form. But like I said again, so like my game plan here, obviously you always have to ask yourself, where am I getting out if I'm wrong on this position, and where am I getting out if I'm right on this position? So in this situation, where I'm getting out if I'm wrong, I'm placing my stop loss above resistance, because if price really starts to trade higher and higher and starts to take out this resistance range and starts to trade back above our major resistance range, then most likely I'm wrong and I want to cut my loser short. Now you ask yourself the questions like, okay, well, where am I going to get out if I'm right? And in this type of situation here, down here at the lows is where I'm going to get out if I'm right. I'm going to cut half of my position here at a 15, or at, sorry, not at a 15,000 again. I'm going to cut half of my position here at the lows here at 15,152, and then try and continue to trail my stops and let the rest of the position actually try and run down to the 15,045 range. But as price starts to come down into this area over here, which is going to be roughly 15,180-ish or so, where we saw these lows previously actually formed before price action came back up, because the market opened up here, pumped up in a resistance, dumped, rejected, where I did catch a quick scalp of my portfolio on AirFX from this point to like this point all the way down here. That's where I will actually look to trail my stop loss to probably break even or something along those lines. And then have the rest of my position try and come down into this area of support. Now, my other positions, which one of my 3 lot positions, I'm going to try and run down into the 15,045 range just to try and allow my winners to run as long as possible. That's only if price can actually take out this area of support. Now, with that being said, I don't expect this trade to hit TP today, probably tomorrow, maybe the day after. It's going to be a very interesting week in the markets here. So we have about a minute until this candlestick actually closes, which so far we got a nice solid rejection. Price pulled back up into the resistance range, as you guys could see, and so far price action is actually rejecting here. So we have about 40 seconds or so for this candlestick to actually close, and if we can get a solid rejection, that's when I'll actually enter another position here. So I'm going to wait for this candlestick to actually close. Now, again, if price action does come down in my take profit area, it takes out my 2 positions, but price action is struggling to fail, or price action is failing and struggling to break this area of support, then I'll close out my entire position. Maybe just leave like one of the smaller positions running, like one of the 1.5 lots, which I'm going to enter another 1.5 lots here in just a moment if we can get a solid rejection, as price is rejecting right now. So we got about another 3 minutes or 2 minutes or so to actually close, and price action did reject that area. So as price action now is bullish, I'm going to wait for it to kind of flip bearish, start going bearish, because I don't want to add a position while the candlestick is actually going bullish. Maybe price action is going to come up for another retest of this area, but I'm going to wait for the candlestick to actually flip bearish, and that's when I'll take the short, because I want momentum to be my favorite. But if price action can come up, and now since I do have the entry candlestick already printed here, which this is the entry candlestick for me, that's basically confirmation enough for me to get into the position, because again, it shows us that there is selling pressure in this area and price action is struggling to actually break that area. Now, if this candlestick just goes up and starts trading higher and higher, obviously that's signal for no entry, but I just want to wait and see this candlestick actually flip bullish or flip bearish here for me to actually get triggered into the position. I could also wait for a break of the lowest low here, but I wanted to really just get an entry a little bit higher up into the resistance range, which is why I didn't just enter all of the positions at once there. So I'm just trying to show you guys essentially how I trade and how I actually do things here. So I'm waiting for this candlestick to flip bearish. Once it flips bearish is when I'll actually take my short position, and I should get filled pretty quickly. I shouldn't have any problems getting filled. There we go. There's the bearish flip. I'm going to take that short position, and then I'm going to place my stop loss again at the same exact area. So in terms of take profits, just to give you guys an idea, so this take profit, I'm going to try and let it run to this area all the way down here, and then one of these positions I'm also going to try and let it run all the way down here as well. And then this position, I'm going to just set the take profit to be at this TP area, and then this other position I'm also going to set the take profit to be at this other TP area over here. So I have my trade set up perfectly, and I'm ready to move on kind of with the rest of my day. With these day trades, I don't really like sit around on my computer all day long. So I'll just kind of let price action do its thing. I'll check back every now and then, and of course I will give you guys an update within the next few hours here or so. Hopefully the position does work out pretty well. The hour time frame is a bit looking a bit stronger than I would like it to, but so far everything else looks pretty okay, pretty solid. So I'll give you guys an update in the next few hours. All right, everybody. So really quick, I wanted to give you guys an update on the position. As you guys could see, currently the position is floating, and I wanted to give you guys kind of like an update, feedback, what my thoughts are. You know, should I close, etc., etc. So I was actually holding for quite some time. As you guys can see, like our entries were basically throughout this entire range over here, and I've been holding for a few hours now. Price action did dump. Unfortunately, I was not on my computer to actually move my stops to break even. I was actually out playing golf, and I just wasn't paying attention to price whatsoever. And unfortunately, I was up 14,000 on one position, and I was up 6,000 on the other position. So I was probably up like almost $40,000 on all of my positions in total. Which would I have realistically closed? No, I probably would have moved my stop loss to break even, though maybe closed one of my positions, but I highly doubt it. And it's just, it is what it is. I potentially cost myself 40 grand. I don't want to say like that's the reality of what would have happened, because to be honest with you, I probably would have just moved my stop loss to break even and then gotten out of one of my positions. So I would have maybe made 6-7K and then got stopped at break even, which I'm kind of glad I didn't actually get taken out of the trade itself. So now when it comes to the position, price did pull all the way back up into resistance, and so far price action is rejecting resistance. Let's go to the daily time frame, see how the daily time frame closed. So daily time frame closed with a lot of weakness. Well, not necessarily a lot of weakness, but it did close with a very kind of more or less like an indecisive candlestick to me. You know, there's not really a lot of strength to the upside. There's not really a big rejection towards the downside. It's, to me, this is basically just a pullback candle on the daily time frame, which is obviously quite necessary when it comes to looking for some moves in the markets. So now going down to a 4-hour time frame, looking at the 4-hour time frame, price did pull back, we did reject, and price is holding this as resistance, which is a great sign. It does look like price is attempting to actually break lower. So hopefully, by the morning, price action can continue to maintain under this area. Now I will be trading with my day trading institution group. We're going to be trading live tomorrow morning, so we'll definitely see how these positions actually pan out by then. But I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update. This is what the hour time frame looks like. We got a nice little double top pattern here, and we'll kind of wait and see what price action prints over the next few hours. But other than that, everybody, I will get back to you guys with an update. All right, everybody, it is now a completely new day. It is the 19th, and I held this position throughout this entire consolidation range, which after holding for a few hours, as you guys can see, I'm currently up, floating in profit, $52,000. And this is the point in time where the trade gets super hard to actually continue to hold. At minimum, now I'm going to move all my stop losses to break even. So worst case scenario, I just break even. I don't lose any money, which is the obvious play to actually go with. Now, to me in my own head, it's like, okay, well, what, I've held for all of these hours, should I potentially close? And it's like, okay, well, do I have a reason to close? Like at this very moment in time, I don't have any reason to potentially close out my positions. So it's a little bit more difficult to determine, if I should hold out the entire position. That's kind of what I'm debating on. It's like, okay, well, do I secure like a portion of my position and then hold to the first take profit? What do I do in this situation where it's kind of like, okay, well, we look at this and one position, let me turn this from profit to money for you guys. We look at this and say, okay, well, one position is floating 17K, another 18,000, another 10,000, another 8,000. So, okay, do I secure like one of the big positions or one of the smaller positions, or do I try and allow the entire position itself to ride? So in this type of situation here, the best bet, since the market hasn't even opened up and volume is going in my favor right away, what I am going to do is just try and hold my entire position to actually run to the first take profit, which, as you guys can see, price action is currently dumping. Now, I actually have to hop on Zoom with my day trading institution community, so you guys will not hear from me again until basically the trade itself is done. But as you guys can see, like, patience just simply pays. And then we'll go over, my thoughts on the rest of the trade. When I do end up closing out, we'll go over the P&L, exactly what happened in these situations, so on and so forth. All right, everybody. So the trade is officially over. Well, it was over in the morning by the time the market actually opened up, but I didn't record it because I was actually on Zoom with my day trading institution students, which I trade live with them 3 times a week. So if you guys would be interested in joining the day trading institution, which for those of you guys that don't know what the day trading institution actually is, it is my full online platform where basically I just provide a ton of education, and we actually trade live together in the morning sessions. So on top of the full online educational platform, you get access to the Discord community and the live trading webinars. So if you guys are interested in joining the day trading institution, learning from me directly, you guys can join the waitlist down below in the description. But as you guys can see, I realized a total of around $52,000, which is fantastic. It was a 52K day, and I made $52,000 in roughly the span of 20 hours, which, as you guys can see, also at the bottom, I did $10,000 withdrawal because I want to buy new wheels for my Ferrari, which is essentially, one of the perks of trading. You can withdraw and pay yourself whenever you want. As you guys can see, I've made a total of around $163,000 on this portfolio, which if I just kind of scroll up, you can also see that there as well. See, this is not a screenshot. So when it came to the trade and the execution, I kind of want to talk about, the reasons as to why I kind of cut the position a little bit earlier than I anticipated, because although price action did actually dump more, it didn't really hit my last take profit. My last take profit was at 15,000. Essentially one of my take profits was 15,100, but then my last take profit was at 15,000 flat, which it did hit TP1, it did hit TP2 as well, which is great, but I wasn't able to capitalize off of that. I'm going to give you guys the reasoning as to why I closed my position early. So you guys saw me take the trade from literally start to finish. Now, when it came down to the 4-hour time frame, we actually did have support throughout this area right here, which we see that reflected in more recent price action. So we have support throughout this entire range. Now, while the market was actually dumping and while price action did actually take out these lows, I decided to actually close one of my positions a bit earlier and kind of leave the rest to run. So as price action prints new data, you have to understand that the probabilities of certain trades do actually change, which is why I decided to basically close out almost my entire position here. I mean, you guys can see the prices where I actually closed out, etc., etc. So, I mean, I closed out pretty much, my earliest position I closed out was at 15,246, and my best position was roughly around 15,249, which is still great. But I had closed out one of my positions as price action did start taking these lows, just to realize some gains, because one of my positions was already up a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio. And after holding this trade for hours, coming from kind of like a more recent scalping background over the last few months, it was definitely like, okay, you know what? I held this trade for 20 hours. Worst case scenario, I'm going to secure a 1-to-2. My other positions can get taken out at break even, which I'm still trying to kind of like fix my psychology and wrap my head around holding my positions for longer, which I did fantastic in my opinion on this trade compared to my last few trades that I tried to actually day trade, which a lot of them ended up basically in break even or a very small profit. That's just me being honest and transparent with you guys. And again, I'm human. I don't trade perfectly, and I never will trade perfectly. I'll never catch, it's going to be very rare that I catch the move from the very top to the very bottom. It's just, I don't want to set unrealistic expectations for you guys. So I did secure about a 2-to-1 on the way down, closed out 2 of these positions. I closed out a 1.5 lot, and I also closed out a 3 lot as well as price action was coming down, which is essentially, the position that I secured a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio. So I saw, hey, you know what? I was risking 12 grand on one of these positions. I'm up 20 grand. And on the other position, I was risking 5, and I'm up like 10. So I decided to secure those two positions. Now, when it came to my exit on the entire trade, so it really came down to the 4-hour time frame. Again, this is an area of support that I was paying attention to that in the past it held as support, and in the more recent relevant past, it held as support there again. So when price action actually started to dump and the market actually started to open, my thoughts behind this trade was, okay, well, you know what? If price action closes and gives us a strong rejection towards this area of support, then I don't want to take the risk of price potentially pulling all the way back on me and getting out at break even when I could just secure my profits and secure a pretty decent gain or so. So that's essentially what I decided to do when it came down to this specific trade. So as you guys can see, price action did come all the way down to support and it gave me a very strong rejection towards the downside, which is okay. You know, things like that are actually going to happen from time to time, and price action still continued. I'm more happy that I actually stuck through to my plan, which essentially this trade was a basic trade where I held where price action was actually downtrending. We had multiple bounces off of resistance and a targeted support. So that was kind of like the whole premises of the trade at that point in time, which is just fine. You know, I could have potentially maybe done better by moving my stop loss to the high of the rejection, but at the same time, I didn't want to give back that much profit because in my head, it's like, okay, well, again, the probabilities change. If price action already rejected this area, I don't know if price action is going to continue to go down. I don't know if price action is going to bounce back up. The best thing I could do is manage my capital as best as I possibly can while protecting as much unrealized gain as I possibly can, which I'm perfectly fine with. I'm very happy with this position. And again, you know, when it came down to my exit, price action came down into support, and I told myself, hey, you know what, if price action rejects this support range and doesn't give me like a clean straight breakthrough, then I'm just going to exit the position, and you know, no harm done. We'll move on to the next trading day, which I also did actually catch shorts here on the S&P 500 also as well on my other portfolio, which is great. So today for me, my trading day was roughly a $65,000 trading day, which is fantastic. Which I did. I caught a break and retest on SPX early this morning. Just not on this portfolio. It was on my portfolio on AirFX. So that is going to summarize the trade. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, if you guys want more free educational content, make sure you guys join the free Telegram room. And I will talk to everybody in the next video. Take care, guys.